ramshackle over your lineup as well, whether it's a jet ski or a SUPer or a longboarder or a young kid with stickers. Someone's got to say something.
Welcome back to the Insiders podcast. It's myself again, Matt, with the most surfed out Darren that it must have been for a while, because I'm just getting daily pictures of him surfing huge not slabs, but huge waves. How are you, big man?
Good. Tired.
Yeah, in a good way, though.
Yeah. We surfed again today. It was pretty good with Paul Evans. We went just down to the pay basket and got a couple. But I'm kind of gutted. I kind of missed yesterday because I thought it was going to be too big and too long up here. I've got a huge amount of cleaning to do in this house before I give the keys back, and I didn't even check. And then, these days you see footage the day after, so it's pretty hard to escape it if you miss it. But like, what can you do? You can't be everywhere all the time.
No, because I got to throw props to the guys that they run the Instagram called Rip It Up, and like they provide me with my daily French updates, which is a bit of a killer, but at the same time, I love it. I'm
not looking at it.
I saw a photo of today, and there's a wave that
from today or yesterday.
From today, today. They posted this afternoon, and the barrel is so wide and square. You could get a car.
No, it would have been yesterday. It was yesterday because today the wind was really south. So it was kind of like a blowout up here. But like I can't stay on all night tonight either because tomorrow morning I think it's like really good. And yesterday as well. At one stage you got to know your limits, and I'm not. There's plenty of young guys around here that don't have limits yet or haven't had operations and stuff like that. So let's let them go for it.
Yeah, I mean, you've been scoring, so I'm not going to feel too sorry for you based on the fact that you've been scoring most days.
Last week we had like one of the days of the year. It was epic. There's a whole bunch of do's and don'ts and weird stories in that one too, I'll tell you.
Yeah, well, that's the weird thing is like, for people listening, like Thursday and Friday last week, we had here at the Wits, we had two like all-time days, the best days it's been in easily a year. Like,
unreal.
And I send a photo to you, like, oh, this is it. And then I just get a photo back of you on something like that's just it's a proper wave rather than what we get here, and gives me
a wave's a wave, Matt. Wave. A good wave at your home spot's as good as anything.
I got to surf with Alan Stokes last Thursday, so he's like
Schrauping.
Yeah, I'd say him and Harry Timpson are probably the two best in the UK. Maybe Seb Smart. Seb Smart's a really good surfer as well. They're probably the three best UK surfers. But I got to surf with Alan at my home break, and geez,
how'd he go?
Like, I've not seen surfing like that there. Like,
see, now you know what's possible. It's good, isn't it?
That's what I mean. Though, I've kind of been telling myself, I'd probably surf better if I had a better wave. And then he comes and literally second wave, just done a full like rotation 360 air, and was like, okay, well, I can no longer blame the wave anymore. I have to start blaming myself a bit more. But it was good. It was good to surf. I love surfing with people who are better than me. Like, I loved the time I came and surf with you. Like, I try and sponge it up. I try and watch everything that what you were doing, how you were paddling, how you were getting into the waves, where you position yourself on the waves, how you turn. Same with Alan, same when I surf with Fipsy. And when I surf with anybody, I'm just trying to, because I love it so much, I just try and sponge it as much as
Yeah,
possible.
yeah, that's what you got to do. I mean, I've been doing it too here. I've been doing it with young Kale, who's
Yeah,
not young for you. For me, he's young, and he's really good on his boards and just watching different techniques. And you can never see enough of it, huh? You
no.
can never like, you can imagine if you travelled around with Kelly all year and surfed with him.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. And if we dive straight into some, maybe instead of just talking about ourselves, which we could do for hours, um, I wanted to talk about young Nathan Florence.
Oh,
But
good.
I've got a story about him that makes it even better. So if anybody hasn't been seeing his Instagram and stuff, Nathan Florence has been surfing in Scotland and now he's in Ireland. The wave that he just surfed in Ireland is absolutely mental. But I've spoken to a guy who he's a good customer of mine and lives in Scotland, and he surfed with Nathan the last couple of weeks. He surfed with him 3 days back to back, not planned, but he it's his local, and Nathan was there, and he could not have praised Nathan Florence more for how for two reasons. One, apparently he was just this he was so psyched on like anyone getting a good wave. He was like hooting and like screaming and like padding over to people and saying like that was sick and stuff, like really like friendly and stuff to people. And apparently he was just like amazing with Groms. Like he gave so much of his time to local Groms and stuff. And
He's a professional. He's a YouTuber, man. He can't
yeah,
be.
of course, but apparently he
I
was doing
I
like
hope I
cover.
hope it's natural. I'm pretty sure it is. He looks pretty
Yeah.
stuffed.
But this guy talked to, funnily enough, he surfed with Torren Martin when Torren done the UK trip, and he surfed with Mason Ho. If you saw some clips of Mason about 2 months ago, and he
Yes.
said all three of them are incredibly down to earth and like just normal people, which they are. But he said all three of them just they aren't anything other than exactly how they come across. And he said, and Nathan actually is even nicer than he comes across on camera.
So
Uh,
they're not like mid strength regional rippers who've got stickers on their board who won't say
exactly.
hello to you at the local coffee shop.
Yeah, exactly. But I
It's
thought it
funny how
was
that works, isn't it? Probably
it,
happens in soccer too, huh? Does it? You reckon? Or cricket?
uh, yeah, I reckon so. I reckon you get more elite level people that are just like had enough and stuff. But yeah, it is funny how you get some people with ridiculous egos, and you're like, mate, you're still on the QS. Like, um, you're not that good. But I just thought it was all time that like Nathan was doing what he's doing, and what he's been doing is mental. Like,
Did you watch the paddle out one
yeah,
in Scotland
where
where
he's
it
paddling out
goes
his
round
bum.
and it doesn't even look like a wave, does it? And then
No,
he's plucking away, pluck, tube, boom. And the
and
poor other young kid who's out there just
yeah, Ben, yeah,
you just can't like any layman.
I
Like Nathan's grown up in front of pipeline, so you got so much experience with
yeah,
rocks that they're so comfortable with it. Like
I,
I just always think, what happens if they like hit their head or anything like that? But they never seem to.
no, and it's
Mason
a
Ho
bit,
as well. Mason Ho looks like he's tiptoeing on the edge of a volcano most of the time.
yeah, I
How
agree.
doesn't fall in? I don't know.
I agree, and I watched that paddle out because the paddle out that the clip that you're watching, everyone should go see. And my thoughts was like, how do you get back in? Like, if that's the paddle out, how do you get in? Like, as well. But um, yeah, experience. But that leads to a really good point because you said about knowing your limits, and I know you was talking about potentially your own body and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's like I hope that people watch that and go, yeah, look, he's someone who's grown up on Hawaii and he's very, very experienced. And I hope, people aren't like now thinking, oh, I can go and do that if he can do it, because like you could get yourself in some serious trouble.
You just got to like exactly like, for example, we had a marking day yesterday, and some of these guys here are paid to do that sort of stuff. But it's only like the first week of November, and we've got 4 more months of we should have decent waves. We're going to get storms in between for sure. And like, we've got a really good forecast this weekend. Not massive or anything, good offshores. Like I'd rather it be perfect and offshore than big and whatever. Like, and I just like a few of my friends around town, with most people like my age, they get into the same rhythm. We're trying to say it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. And this time last year, I was injured. I had an injured knee, and I was out for 10 weeks, wasn't it? I think 10 weeks.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking, how lucky. Like, just keep chipping away and don't take off on waves that you don't think you're going to make. I mean, there's different ways. You can say go hard or go home, or Eddie would go, and good on you if you want to do that, because you might go home. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Unless you paid for it. These people are getting paid for it. Like, that's their job. Like miners getting paid to go underground.
Yeah, but most of those people, don't you think most of those people as well, they won't have, like you say, you've got 5 months. A lot of the people paid to do it are in and out because they've got other things like lined up. Like they might have a Hawaiian month lined up, or a go to Morocco for a bit and stuff like that.
So that's a different thing. If you're on your holiday and
Yeah.
you're there and there's the waves of your life, you got to give it a good crack.
For sure, 100%. Yeah. Moving on from Nathan Florence getting huge waves, you getting huge waves, me getting average waves and schooled by Stokesy. What we got to talk about Griff.
Yeah, we'll get there. Just quick one. What weddies are you rolling at the moment? Are you in full kit yet, or what?
Do you know what? You've just nailed this on the head of actually something I needed to say. So, what wets am I? I'm in 4.3s.
Like warmest autumn ever so far.
So warm, yeah. I've got a shout out to Volcom, but through boardshop.co.uk. I got sent a care package by Volcom, and they sent me a wetsuit, or they sent me a wetsuit and a couple of wetsuits, and
I'll have a word to my mate that works there, Chief, at Volcom, and tell him you said g'day.
Yeah, I will do. Yeah, and I surfed their wetsuits last week. Proper dawny on Friday, and it was cold. And a couple of Silent Jack was in a 5.4 with a hood, and I was in just a 4.3. Volcom, toasty. So
slip on hood or not?
Pardon?
Slip on hood? Did you have like a little bonnet?
No.
Little beanie head? No.
It's a 4.3 with an integrated hood, but I had the hood pulled down. It was too hot. So yeah, we're just in 4.3s.
Loose?
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was a really good wetsuit, and it's still really warm. Like, no gloves. I'm wearing boots, but that's because we got stones. Otherwise, I wouldn't be wearing them.
I put my 4.3 on today, first time, and the water's warm.
Yeah, but super warm.
But we've had a little bit of wind, and I think I kind of overdid it last week, and then I got the chills on the weekend, and then I had headaches and stuff. I think I caught a little bug from someone. I had a morning where I was like trying to vomit, listeners, but like that went like dry reaching vomit. So I had to drink water, and then this was Saturday morning, and I thought I'd had too many wines, but I only had 3. And then I went back for a mid-morning nap, and I woke up like better.
Yeah.
I kind of still felt like I'd been through the ringer. I think Honestly, I think I dehydrated myself last
I was
week.
going to say it sounds like maybe dehydration, especially with
I drink. And I I nearly take the piss out of the young crew because they're fucking always walking around with their water bottles and everything. And we grew up where you just went to the closest tap. I had a
yeah,
water
yeah.
bottle ever.
I drink a lot of water, but
You
yeah,
got
So wetsuit wise, UK still in a 4-3 at the moment, unless you are in Scotland or no, like
I think
North.
everyone down here is 3-2s, and if you're going for a long session like last week on the really good Wednesday, I was probably one of the only guys in the 3-2, and I had a little sleeveless vest underneath and me lycra bikie pants. But I would have liked to have a little bit more because it was offshore
Yeah,
for for a few hours, and it's the wind. Even if it's not a even if it's not a cold, ferocious cold wind, the wind still does cool you down,
yeah,
doesn't it?
100%. Especially if you're not wearing boots or a hood because they're sorry, gloves or a hood because I find that like one if your hands get cold, then suddenly the rest of you gets colder. If your head gets a little bit of a chill from that wind, yeah, then you're like, okay, I need to warm up, kind of thing. And
You
what
did your you did your shout out. I'll do a quick shout out, and hopefully my old mates from Quickie aren't listening. But I got a really good mate, and he's. I knew him from when he was younger. He used to get boards from us, a rider, and now he's Rip Curl team manager, a Jan Martin, and he slipped me a 5-3 flash bomb.
oh,
Because years ago I said to him, "Oh, I love a Rip Curl," and he said, "I'll get you one," and he forgot. And I saw him at the cafe the other week.
got
They're
him.
getting some pizza, and I said, and because I was just looking at my winter suits and just want to be toasty, man. And I thought it was going to be too big. It's large. And it
Yeah,
fit like a glove.
shit.
I've
Yeah,
never surfed in a Rip Curl. I've surfed a Buell this year, which is the first non-quickie one and stuff. But have you surfed a Rip Curl Weddy?
yeah. I had the E bomb, so it's the lesser
Good.
warm version of a flash bomb. So flexible. I had a 5-3 E bomb, and it felt like the restriction on it was like non-existent. Um, the E bomb I found a little bit cold for deep dark English winter. Um, but the flash bomb is what Silent Jack swears by. Is it?
Okay.
His is 2 years old now, and it's still going. It's still his go-to, and he surfs it all the time.
I've
So
got a backup 5-4-3 quickie synchro plus, which would now be like what they call everyday sessions or marathon sessions.
yeah, yeah.
It's just under the high line because they didn't have any high lines. I like the 5-4-3 without the integrated hood, mate,
Mm,
because I just put the slip-on hoods here because
yeah.
it's so
You're feeling that
ferocious.
it's cold. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's not. But
I do the opposite. Is I've last year I the guy at XL, the rep at XL sorted me out a really good deal and stuff, and I got the 4.5 mil, 3.5 mil integrated hood comp suit, and because it's got the integrated hood, it's like it's almost as warm as any 5-4 without the integrated hood.
yeah, I've got a 4-3. But do you find that integrated hood doesn't give you neck restrictions?
Not
That's
see,
what gets me.
on some they do, but on the Volcoms and on the XLs that I've got, they've made the hoods only like 1.5 mil because they don't
Okay.
need to be that thick, so they're really stretchy around the hood.
They
Um,
need it stretchy around the neck, don't you think? Because
yeah,
if you're turning,
yeah,
I just find that you don't have as much
100%.
flexibility with your neck,
I
especially
had
coming up from duck dives and stuff.
Yeah, last year I had a session where I took I grabbed my mate's hood instead of mine, and he's a smaller guy, and it was a small hood, but I needed a hood because it was freezing. It was like February, and I pulled this hood on, and I managed to get it on, but it was like it felt like someone was pushing down the top of my head the whole surf. So when I was like,
Uh,
it was if it is really important to size your hood properly because yeah, I've had a small one and it's horrible, but
got
no,
one at the moment that's pushing in on my bottom
I hate
jaw. I nearly got to put it in my mouth.
yeah.
Otherwise, it's too tight on your chin. What do you do for that? Not
Well,
much to do, is there?
that's the other really good thing. So the XL one sits above your lips almost.
Mm.
Sits like where this dodgy mustache looks. And then the Vulcan one, it's like a bit of fabric that goes across your chin. It's not tight across your chin.
Yeah.
So that's comfortable as well.
Are you getting water in you? Are you getting water in through the hood on a duck dive or not?
Not that I've had so far. Like I had one wave where I wiped out, like I took off, fell off, fell off at an awkward angle and it flushed, but I hadn't pulled it tight. So that was almost like my fault.
You need to do a funny sort of duck the head on your duck dive. Because I'm not used to integrated hoods, and I'm trying to. Maybe they are warmer. You feel it immediately.
Yeah, and with them,
I love the pull on little hoodie. I love them.
Yeah. I'd say down in France is like, yeah, you could definitely get away with like less of it or not having an integrated hood.
Any warm water listeners listening to us, it's super important, the hood, and if you're going anywhere cold, buy a little. If you're scared, you don't need a wetty with an integrated hood. Buy one of the little like slip-on hoods because they don't cost much, and it literally changes your life. You get out the back and you don't have a cold head.
Yeah,
basically, you don't get ice cream headaches, and you save yourself the post-surf fatigue as well.
it's a third of your body temperature comes out your head. So
yeah, you guys, it'd be impossible for you guys up there to surf without hoods.
You just get brain freeze.
Young people do it or not?
It's not really. There's a really weird thing. I think I mentioned it on the podcast before, but if I didn't, I'll mention it again anyway. There's a really weird thing up here where you get people who will have hoods, but they won't wear gloves and they won't wear boots. And like I see guys, it's not happening in a moment, but I remember last winter I'm sitting there and I'm in boots and mitts and a hood. And I'm seeing guys where they've got hands like tucked under their armpits and stuff, and you like see them get out and their hands like bright red, and I'm just like, just get some mitts, mate. Like mitts are the best.
Arthritis.
Yeah.
I'm just getting some quickie gloves now, but I'm getting fingers.
See, I
really hate gloves. They're hard to paddle, but I guess you get used to paddling with them.
Yeah, I don't like using them, but mitts, I like mitts. If you get a good, because again, same with a hood, with a mitt, because a mitt's so much warmer than a glove, you can actually, like a 3mm mitt is as good as a 5mm glove. So you can actually
fingers are together.
Yeah, so you can actually kind of use a mitt that's going to be lighter than a glove that's going to be heavier, and actually it's warmer. So, I'm mitts the whole way.
I still got your set that you sent me last year. They are a bit too big. I'm going to try and pass them on to massive hands Christian Bradley.
Yeah.
Does he surf but he doesn't surf in winter, so it won't help. Before I sidetracked you, but I think it's important for us to talk about technical stuff and wetties and stuff.
I think that was,
we were going to talk about something else before.
Well, it actually a nice little arc into it because we're talking about brands and stuff, but we have to talk about Griffin Colapinto and his.
Oh wow!
His move
coming.
I had no idea that was going to happen. So if anyone hasn't seen what have you been doing, but Griffin Colapinto has left Billabong and joined Quicksilver, which is a bit weird when you know that board riders own both.
It is weird,
but it is kind of weird because, like our last episode, we talked about how they've just dropped Leo and what that means, and now I can guarantee you, Griff is demanding more money than Leo.
I can absolutely. I don't know, but I'd bet on it too.
Yeah.
So has he got more value to Leo than Leo to the brand? Do you think? If you had, like, it's a hard question. Sorry to put you on the spot, but like, if you had a pocket full of bucks and you could only give it to one of them, who would you have given it to?
Well, I'd give it to Griff, like, and pure and simply because they're a brand.
Top 5, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean he's
won 2 comps.
Yeah, won 2 comps last year. He's released an incredible film with his brother. He's finished 6th in the world last year and this year. he's going to be a perennial world title threat for the next 5 years or more. And
he's got flair.
Yeah, and he will be at the Olympics. Like, in my opinion, he'll be there with either John, or if John doesn't, someone else. But I think he's the American that will be at the Olympics as well. And yes, Leo's got the Olympics, and yes, Leo's now back on tour, but he's fallen off tour. He's qualified.
Is some crazy motivation for Leo to now smash every Quicksilver rider?
Hopefully.
You'd think so, wouldn't you?
I mean, and that, I think that's where you'll see the best of Leo. I think you see the best of Leo when he was a wild card and he was out in Western Australia and he finished, I think he got like semi-final or something. And when he's written off, I think that's when he gets maybe a bit gritty or a bit angry or whatever, and he then becomes better, maybe. And maybe that's what he needs. But yeah, hopefully. But also, it's like it makes a massive.
Griff on more. Is Griff coming in over the top of Kanoa?
Well, that's what I was about to say, because if you ask me the same question of would I have Griff or Kanoa, commercially, I think Kanoa makes more money, because I think he has a massive appeal in America. I think he has a massive appeal in Europe, and he also has the Japanese connection. But weird, like that. Apparently, Griff is now their signature, or like their.
They said in that article he gets to ride the red sticker.
Yeah, and he's their marquee, thing, and it makes me think. Well, what? Obviously, Billabong should now have a big gap in their budget, right?
They got a massive team though, Billabong. Maybe their budget, Maybe Billabong's budget, was over busting, and they had to seep someone out.
And instead of cutting a Billabong rider, they've cut a Quickie rider and then moved the Billabong rider over.
Yeah, that's a good little theory, isn't it?
Yeah, that
because Griff says, "Oh yeah, you can be more individual with Quick because Billabong was a little bit straight and come off the grass. Look at Creed McTaggart and these dudes are left of centre, man."
Have you watched that? Have you watched the Billabong film?
Yeah, it was sick.
Far out. That was.
And Parko's still Billabong, obviously, so he's still obviously getting a paycheck.
Parko
gets a paycheck for life, probably like Oki,
and like Miko, but with Rip Curl. But that in Interlusion, I think it is. What a film!
I might watch it again just because it's so good to watch Mentawi sometimes.
Yeah,
we haven't had it for a while.
I watched it, so kind of bridging over to it. I watched it after I'd watched the second episode of Stab High, and it just made me think: whatever Stab head honcho, whatever you want to call him, decided not to invite Eitan Osborne to Stab High is a moron.
Maybe he refused it, dude, because Rio refused it. Rio told me because when he stayed at the house a couple of weeks ago, because he didn't want to go there and get injured.
Yeah,
about the qualifier, because that's what they're doing. They're going.
I suppose, and Eitan is close to qualifying. I think he's in the top 10 still at the moment, but he didn't surf Sakurama, so I don't know. But geez, he does 2 massive airs. Yeah,
I saw that. I just want to quickly stab on the stab. Stab at the stab and the Stab High thing, which I watched as well. It kind of proves to me, just I don't care if it proves it to anyone else, that watching an air comp kind of sucks the whole pus out of actually hell airs, because I'm not that insanely impressed with it so far. I'd rather 10 times out of 10 watch the other edit where they're in the Mitawis, and I see bigger airs than that than putting the other dudes out there in 30 minutes and they have to do an air. It just doesn't seem to work.
I'd agree. I think as well as a few other people, that I am one of Stab's biggest fans, but when episode 1 dropped and the first air is like what I would call is like an average rotation, and two of the three judges jump out of their seats going, "Oh my god!" And then they scored,
Yeah,
and they
cool.
scored it a they
They're
scored it a
trying.
7 out of 10. I was like, "Come on!" Like I want, I was hoping this is going to push progression, and I haven't been wowed. But I mean, there's a couple of airs on there that I've been like, "Oh holy shit, that was good, that was big." But um, yeah, I'm not. I really like it. I really really enjoy it, but I don't like the. I would rather they done a different commentary or something on it because
And
I'm
then you
going,
see two of Jay
yeah,
Gleeberman.
Jai Glindemann, yeah.
Even one of his ways, and you watch it and you just go, wow, how unreal is that to watch?
Do you know, for
Person, that
me,
is.
I
Style over,
I
style
agree,
over theatrics any day of the year.
100%. And I absolutely love watching. So there's two people, one on Stab High, and the other on the Billabong film. But actually, he's on the Billabong film as well. Is Dakota Waters and um,
That's good, isn't he?
and Creed. But I love watching those because two things really. They're big and gangly like me, so I kind of can relate to it a bit more. But their rail lines. They have longer boards and they hold a longer rail line for their turns and stuff. And I'd rather watch that than theirs every single day of the week. I think Creed is so good to
That's
watch.
great surf to watch, isn't he?
So good to watch. Crazy good to watch.
And he's
But,
funny.
yeah, it's a bit weird as well, but he is funny.
Hey,
But
so then we'll flip because I watched just dead set before your message come through, and I've I'm trying. I haven't been trying to overrate her like what I think like the Americans are doing for Katie Simmers, isn't it? So I
yeah,
watched a little O'Neill thing that they put out on her, and it's really good. I still kind of think she's been overscored and overrated a lot of times because she's so young and
mm.
talented. But when you, gee, she's good surfer. But I think
she's
she needs a couple of years.
she's quickly becoming one of my favorite surfers. She's quickly,
She's really good. Some of those back, like, because they show her out on a little slab with
yeah, with
Russell Dickey.
yeah, that's
It's
sick. I
just
love
so
that.
cool how she hooks into it straight away. And how good is he, Russell?
He's sick,
It's
and
just so good.
I think talking about Katie and talking about Stab High is, in my opinion, she's head and shoulders above every other girl out there. But that's okay because like she should be as well. But I wonder because she's just requalified, like literally yesterday, I think, because of the Sakurama event and everything that went down. She's now qualified for next year's World Tour, but she's yet to say whether she's taken up the spot or not.
Is she unstoppable when she's like 18, 19? Because by then Steph's like
She
30. Yeah,
she
it's
might
not
be.
too old, but she's getting older and
It
she doesn't
depends.
do that sort of surfing.
It
And even
depends who comes
Carissa.
through. Yeah, I think it depends who comes through with her because I think from the current crop, yes, she is. But Sierra Kerr,
Oh, Molly's pretty gnarly, isn't she?
Molly's very good, and Betty Lou Sakura Johnson has been very good on the QS this year, and Sierra Kerr also is absolutely fiendish. And um,
And she's
what's
so
it?
young. Can they
And
hold it together, man? It's a,
yeah, and Erin Brooks. You know, she came.
yeah,
She was
yeah,
in the
yeah.
final. She was in the final of that Padang Padang Cup this
Yeah,
year.
like they're really tube riding.
Yeah, they're focusing more on that, and I think like that's what's good about seeing Katie in some slabs is because you were.
They're going to have to because they're
I
going to
worry.
have to ride them. They've
Yeah,
got Pipe and Chopu in the tour.
chokes
And
and
they can
pipes.
do it, man. They can do it. They're that good.
And because I worried with Katie whether she was a bit um too much style over substance when I first saw her surfing and stuff, and thought, well, how is she going to handle a like romping like barrel and stuff? But she can.
But
So
the most style, if you look at down through the ages, Matt, the most stylish surfers ended up being kind of best barrel riders: Jerry
yeah,
Lopez, Tom Carroll, Oki, Tom
Craig,
Curran.
Craig Anderson's so
Craig
underrated.
Anderson, Rob
Yeah.
Machado. He was out in the water here the other day.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about
I said Matt loves you. Huh?
that.
No, I didn't.
No, I was going to say,
He's
don't
only
get
on a
it.
7-footer, and he didn't really get a whole lot of waves. And I was really wanting to watch him catch one. A mate told me saw him get a couple on the inside, but I think he needed just a little bit of a bigger board. But he looked like he had a good time.
Yeah. Was he on a firewire?
Not sure. He was on a 7-0, and his friend of mine that works at FCS was like saying to me,
He was on a Morris Cole.
died in Asian boards or something.
He was on the Morris Cole, if anyone asks.
It would have been because he was with Morris Cole, I think.
Mate, how good is Morris Cole at charging as well? Like for a guy of his age, so he sends it on like 9-1s.
He's the original France superstar.
Yeah, but yeah, I think Machado was on a Morris Cole, which would have been cool as well. But
So we've done the loop. They did that. We'll have to do this maybe in another episode, but it looks like we'll do a pre Haleiwa QS CS blah 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 next week and talk about Brazil and who's now's in the top 10 because there's a few bolters with Maxime and Ramsey from Europe, which is unreal.
Yeah,
Leo, Ramsey, and Maxime could do triple European onto the tour. That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
And hopefully Liam O'Brien as well, which we'll try and get on the show. But I got too busy surfing and like, he's there in a comp. He said, yeah, you can call me this day. But
you feel like you get away, don't you?
Yeah. I don't want to do that. Like rather when they're on an off week and they're training and doing roll and some sort of weird shit like that.
Yeah, and I've got talking about style as well. I am trying to hook it up for this weekend, and I'm going to let you know. But hopefully, Victor Bernardo has got some time now, and he's promised me to get.
What a great surfer!
Yeah, man. So that'd be sick as well. But yeah, we'll do a Brazil rundown / Haleiwa prediction kind of thing. Easy money, and yeah, but. What about, because you said about it earlier, what about your do's and don'ts for this week?
I'm calling, just make sure you got good wax. Like it's a bit easier for you guys now because you're in booties.
Yeah.
But we're getting a bit cooler water and we've still got a bit more time and you need good wax, always fresh wax coat. I was coming down a couple today and there was heaps of wind choppers. And I was just thinking, like, you just don't want to slip off when you're going fast.
Nah.
Do wax up. And don't. It's kind of like it's a mix between a don't and does its disasters and it does its escapades. Because I had a surf the other day and, like, honestly, you should, even though you got to word it up, like, don't hold your tongue. I was going to say, don't get in but there was jet ski guys and they just kept coming too close to the lineup when they were doing the tour and they were putting backwash all over all our sets and I kind of was pointing out the sea for them to try and go a bit wider and further out. And the dude gave me a big up and under with his arm, so I gave him a small finger and he came over to rev me. And halfway through revving me, 60 people behind me, which I didn't realise because the lineup was getting busier, booed him and hissed him and he kind of took off.
Yeah.
And it kind of lifted my spirits and then I ended up having a sick surf.
There you go.
You can't let people just ramshackle over your lineup as well, whether it's a jet ski or a SUPer or a longboarder or a young kid with stickers. Someone's got to say something if people not following. A busy crowd is always is a little bit different where you're always going to have people get more waves than the others and sometimes it's placement and everything. But if someone's just being ridiculous, I think you've got to say something because there's at least 75% of the people in the lineup who are shy people. Now, they'll never say something, but it doesn't mean they're comfortable with what's going on. And it's up to the people that aren't shy to try and help out.
Absolutely. You 100%, you have to regulate, because when I surfed here Friday, it was big in the morning. It was like kind of like a foot overhead. It's about as big as it can handle here. But then I surfed it again on the drop, and it was a Friday, it was sunny. There was like 75, 80 people out. It's quite a spread up line out. But there was this guy on a sup, and he kept, when the cleanup sets came, he was ditching his board, and it's a 10-foot board with a 10-foot leash. And he'd done it once, and I had to fully duck dive under his sup. And then he'd done it again, and I saw it nearly hit Silent Jack. And I just paddled out to him and said, "Look, mate, ditch your board again, and we've got a problem. So either move on or don't ditch, basically." And because Jack wouldn't have said something unless you hit him. And
there you go. And then it's too late. Like, what
Exactly.
if these jet ski dudes had it? There was young guys out there, like, I seen a couple of like teenagers out there. What if someone runs over them?
Yeah, exactly. And you have to, like, there was another guy. There was a funny story actually. So they're good do's and don'ts. My do was actually very similar to yours, but about waxing is what I didn't realize is something to pay attention to. And I was going to say, do maybe use boots for more than just warmth. My do was
Heaps of sticks.
Because when I surfed here on Thursday, I was in boots, and Alan, who's pro, like very, very good, he didn't have boots with him, and he walked down, and we've got like it's just like a rainwater runoff. But he was like, he was saying to me, "Oh, your water's so slippery here," and I was like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean water's slippery and stuff?" And then he was like, in where he surfs Cornwall, he was like, "I don't need boots, and it's not slippery." He was like, but he was like, "It feels like there's some like slippery like gunk on his board because of maybe the rainwater runoff, or maybe it's from where he walked down the stones." So my do would be, wear boots. Like, even if you get a thin pair, like the Vans boots are crazy thin. They won't keep you warm, the 3 mil ones, but they give you great grip and board feel.
Okay, so there's a good one. I got 3 mil boots that I'm Atans, which I always swore by. I like them and stuff. But I also had a 5 mil pair. My physio said to me a couple of years ago, secret tip, because I never use the 5 mil pair because they're a bit fat on the bottom. He goes, inside tip, use your 5 mil. And I started using them last winter and noticed that no water goes in.
Yeah.
That's the tip, isn't it? I think I'm going to get a 5 mil pair of boots. What about split toe or open toe on your booties? Split toe seems to hurt my toenail.
I don't like split toe. It feels like, I'm round toe the whole time. I don't like wearing like flip flops with things between my feet or anything like that. So between my toes. Okay. So I'm round
split toe. I kind of always noticed that I'd have them problems with my toenail. On the inside of my toenail, I felt like it would end up getting infected and pushed on because of the pressure on it.
I'm the same. Yeah, it feels like you're getting like, what is it, ingrown toenail or something weird. But I'm round toe.
Okay, I'm going round toe too. Hey, have you surfed any billabong booties?
I actually have. Yeah, I had a pair like 3 years ago. Yeah, decent, really good actually. 5 mil pair, no water got into them, didn't go heavy, lasted quite a long time as well. Because my boots, I cane boots because I walked to the beach and stuff, down concrete and down stones and stuff. Billabong boots are decent. Vans boots are very, very good for board feel, but they're thin, so they're not great for warmth. O'Neill are pretty reliable as well. O'Neill are pretty good to get on and off. They're not, you don't have to wrestle them on and off. But
mine are pretty hard to get off, and I haven't worn quickie ones for years, and I was going to get back into it. I put on a pair the other day, and it kind of felt all right. So maybe I'm gonna get Ram or mate said he'll give me a code on some Billabong ones.
Sling your code, yeah. And actually, the boots I was wearing, the boots I've been wearing for the last 2 years were Whistler. No, you and your mate Derek. I had 5 mil.
What are they like?
I had 5 mil Whistler boots. I loved them.
Oh.
Yeah, they're really good. They're super soft. Yeah.
Might have a word to him.
Maybe hit him up.
I think the thing, because my 5 mil Atans, which is a French brand, fantastic. They got like they're got a black plastic. It's like, I think they're hot dipped in it. Huh? It's just that I think that the sole's too thick Okay,
Yeah.
so it's a little bit roly-poly under your foot, but the
Yeah.
rest of it feels good. I think it maybe needed a more of a flatter sole.
Yeah. I get.
So that you get, you say you got a little bit more sensitivity to the board, but
Yeah. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you can throw all that out the window if you've got cold feet because then you can't surf anyway.
Exactly. Yeah. And my don't was going to be again similar to yours. If you're like, don't ditch your board. Like, be aware of who's around you. Be aware of like where you're surfing, the people in the lineup and stuff, and just don't ditch. If you need to ditch your board because there's a cleanup set coming, have a look behind you first. Hold on to the
Okay,
lead.
so there, can I add on to yours then? Because
Yes,
I had a
please.
dude doing it to me. Don't paddle behind. Go out into the lineup.
Oh,
Find people with big boards. Be aware. Avoid it before it happens.
just don't
I
paddle out behind someone. Like literally, you could be like 2 meters either side. I hate it.
don't go directly behind people.
I hate having someone directly behind me because then you're like, right, if I mess this duck dive up, I'm on top of someone, and vice versa. If you're behind, like if you're yeah, if someone's in
We
front
got
of you,
waves. We got waves here, Matt. It's impossible to
yeah,
duck dive. Trust
that's
me.
what I mean.
And you're on a big board. It's impossible. So all you want is for people to not be behind you. And
Yeah,
if you're ever in that situation, go horizontal. Don't be behind someone.
yeah, I agree. So no, that's a good second don't, or be aware for what's to come kind of thing. Yeah, that's I completely agree with that.
Okay, so we're the 8th. I think Hallie was going to kick off the 23. We'll speak to Bernardo and we'll get into a bit of a CS grinder because there's one event to go. And it's pretty important. It used to be the
Yeah,
most important part of the season is who's going to go on to the tour next year. And it's like, it's a pity the girls is only 5, huh? Maisie Callahan, like she's back on. She looks like she smashed them.
I think
Great surfer, man.
I think she's going to be dangerous next year.
Maybe needed to get knocked off tour to come back.
Yeah,
Same with Molly.
yeah, Molly looks really
Same
good.
with Leo.
I reckon Molly's going to do really good at pipe, and Betty Lusakura Johnson looks very, very good as well. So
And more than anyone I want on tour, more than anyone on the girls or guys, it's not because he's a great bloke who I met just recently, is Liam O'Brien, because breaking your
deserves it.
ankle in the morning,
Yeah, 100%.
pipeline of heartbreaking.
And for me, I really want Morgs to get. Morgs is 11th at the moment. I really want Morgs to get back on.
Yeah. He smashes it, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Well, we'll
Right.
soon see. Thanks for having me, mate.
Au revoir.
I'll send you a picture in the morning.
Yeah, boy. Thanks very much, Daz. Have a good one.